President Trump expected to make a visit to Texas today to survey the devastation caused by the 4th of July flash flooding, which killed at least 120 people, including children. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. And Alice, lay out what we can expect from the president's agenda today.
Hi there, Chesley. Yeah, President Trump is headed to Kerrville along with the First Lady, and that is really the heart, the broken heart of the flooding disaster there in central Texas and Hill Country there. So they're going to get a firsthand look at how this entire community has been turned upside down, torn apart. President Trump had said that he did not want to go any earlier than this because he did not want to get in the way of the search and recovery teams that are still trying to find more than 160 people that have been reported missing. Coupled with the numbers you just listed of the confirmed deaths, it's just staggering numbers. And we know that the president and first lady are going to meet with some of the family members who have been affected here, who have been devastated by this flooding. They're also set to meet with, sit down for a roundtable discussion with some first responders and local officials there.
You know, one of the things we've been touching on this week has been the concerns about the outdated alert system there. What are we hearing about that breakdown and who's being held accountable for it?
Yeah, President Trump, in a phone interview with NBC News just yesterday, said that while he does not think that anyone could have seen this coming and that local officials there loved all of the victims, this was their community, of course, he said, quote, "In retrospect, after having seen this horrible event, I would imagine that you would put up alarms of some kind." And we do know that records from a 2016 Kerr County meeting show that a former commissioner called the flood warning system pretty antiquated. There had been efforts over the years to try to get an audible alarm system put in place there for various reasons, not wanting to increase taxes among them. That had not happened. And so, of course, there are now discussions about putting one in. The state is talking about stepping in to help with that. There's a special session for the state legislature there. But the folks, the local officials, the local sheriff's office, the local elected officials are all promising a very in-depth review about what happened, how this all rolled out. They're promising accountability. We should note there are also some increasing questions over how quickly local alerts went out. There's some new audio that's been released from the NBC San Antonio, or the NBC Austin station there, that got a hold of some audio from a local firefighter asking for a code red alert to go out to warn people to their cell phones. It's not entirely clear how long it took for those to actually be issued. So there was the question of the National Weather Service issuing its warnings, and then there's the question of what they call the last mile of the actual alerts going to people locally to warn them that the water was rising so quickly.
All right, quickly, Alice, this hit says the White House has been looking to make some federal cuts. You know, President Trump in the past has said he was going to try to phase out FEMA. What is he saying about them now?
Yeah, so he was asked directly over the weekend about where things stood on whether he still wants to see FEMA phased out. And he just said that at this point, he said that's something we can talk about later, but that right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that. There's been some reporting about Kristi Noem, the head of Department of Homeland Security, that she's been taking over more and more of a role in FEMA. There have been some questions about red tape involving her role, and that she's wanted to have a tighter overview of the spending that FEMA is putting out because there's been this pressure for what's going to happen with the agency long term. Some questions about whether that's slowed down some of the response here. President Trump defended her, defended the overall response, and said that he thought that everyone there was doing the best job that they could.
Okay.
Chesley.
All right, Alice, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. All right, we know a lot of you have been asking, how can I get involved? How can I help? Well, our parent company, Tegna, has created a Texas Flood Relief Fund to support communities impacted by those devastating floodwaters. Simply scan that QR code that's right there on your screen to donate. Every dollar you give goes directly to those in need.